Pancholi, Assistant Professor in LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology in Department of Electronics and Communication. This video is about subject Microwave Engineering. In the last video, we learned about the various kind of the microwave component. So now this microwave component you can see over here. So these are all components that we learned. So the microwave passive components that we learned earlier. Now the microwave component are divided into the two parts, that are the active, passive and the active microwave devices. Now the one of the component that we are going to learn, it is about the microwave tubes. So high power microwaves are required in the radar applications. Similarly, the traveling wave tube that is used in the satellite application for the low power and the high power. The klystron that can be used. Again in the microwave ovens, the magnetrons that can be used. So this way the vacuum tubes, very first you can see over here in the diagram. Okay, so these vacuum tubes are there, and this vacuum tube that consists of the anode, cathode, grid, heated and the heater. Okay, so now what happened? The microwave is having the property that we can generate the heat. So that heating applications that is used in variety of the microwave applications. What are the need of all these tubes in the microwave? Need of the tubes that are the dimensions of the electronic devices that becomes smaller at the microwave frequency. Then after the lesser power handling capacity due to the small size. Due to that the increased noise level, and to generate the high power at the higher microwave frequency. So these are the various requirements for using the various kind of the tubes in the microwave. The question is about the various tubes are available. So what is the limitation of the conventional tubes that is already used? And instead of using all those conventional tubes, the microwave tubes that we need to use. So the reason for that are the conventional microwave tube that cannot be used above the frequency 100 MHz, means they cannot work for the higher frequency. The one effect that is the inter-electrode capacitance, lead inductance effect, transit time effect, gain bandwidth limitation, RF losses, conductance loss, the dielectric loss as well as the radiation loss, okay, that are there at the microwave frequency. So due to all these reasons, the microwave tubes that can be used. So now, first of all, what is the meaning of the inter-electrode capacitance? As we know that the frequency increases, the capacitive reactance reduces, and due to that the output produced by them that is also reduces. So now this inter-electrode capacitance that we want to reduce, so by reducing the area of the electrode or by increasing the distance between them, okay, the capacitance value, okay, that can be reduces. So here the equation is the C is equal to epsilon A upon D. What is the epsilon? Epsilon is epsilon 0 into epsilon R, that is the A, area, and D, that is the distance between the two plates. Okay, so now here you can see in this diagram, okay, this way the inter-electrode capacitance is there at the microwave frequency. The second is the lead inductance effect. What is the lead inductance effect? So series inductive reactance increases with increasing the frequency. So we can apply the voltage to the active node and it reduces the gain. So to minimize this effect, the short leads with the large core cross-sectional area that can be used. So L is equal to I upon mu into A, where mu is equal to mu 0 into mu R. Another effect, this we already learned in case of the transmission line equation, it is the transit time effect. So what is the transit time? It is time taken for the electrons to travel from cathode to anode. So while it travels from the cathode to anode, okay, the transit time is there. So depending on the distance and the velocity, okay, it can be reduced by decreasing the distance, but it would increase the inter-electrode capacitors. So increasing the plate to the cathode potential. So this is about the transit time effect. Gain bandwidth limitation. Maximum the gain that can be achieved when the tuned circuit it is at the resonance. So gain bandwidth product is Bm upon Bc. Okay, so it's fixed for the given tube and it depends on to the frequency. It can be increased by sacrificing the bandwidth, and this thing that can be overcome by re-entrant cavities. So this is the one of the limitation. Effect due to RF losses. Skein effect we have to consider while we are working at the high frequency. So the skein effect, the losses increases as the dielectric losses due to the glass envelope, the plastic encapsulation. Frequency increases in this case. The effect due to the radiation loss. When the dimension of the wire that approaches the wavelength, radiation losses increases, and the proper shielding that is always required. So these are the various limitations of the conventional tubes, and that is why there is a need of the microwave tubes. Now the classification, that is according to the beam size. So linear beam type, linear beam O type, that are the klystron based on the cavity, okay, and the traveling wave tube TWT, that is based on the slow wave structure. Another classification, that is the M type classification. This M type classification, in that the example is the magnetron. So this way the tubes are classified into the two types, O type, M type. So we need to discuss the O type, M type. Okay. So now here you can see in this diagram, that is a linear beam tube. Okay. O type. Okay. It's a cavity resonator. Okay. Then after the exient, then after the klystron, reflex klystron, in that the slow wave structure, the forward wave, backward wave. Forward wave, okay, in that the Felix TWT, okay, and it is occupied by the TWT, okay. Over here the backward structure, it's a EW, okay, and the EWC, okay. So these are the classification of the linear beam O type tube structure. Now we will study about the linear beam O type. The electron beam travels in the same direction as the magnetic field, and a magnetic field that is used to hold the beam together as it travels in the length of the tube. So that is why the klystron uses the resonant cavity concepts, and the slow wave structure that have the non-resonant periodic structure for the electron interactions. Klystron is what? Klystron is a hybrid amplifier which uses a combination of klystron and the slow wave structure. So the multi-cavity klystron that can be also used for the low power microwave amplifier. Similarly, the reflex klystron that is also used, okay, as a low power microwave oscillator. So this is what it is about the klystron. The multiple klystron, multi-cavity klystron, mean more than one cavities are there in that multi-cavity klystron. So that use the microwave amplifier and operated by the principle of the two principles. One is the velocity modulation and another one is the current modulation. As you know that earlier the amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, all that modulation that were used. But in case of the this all tubes, okay, the modulation that can be also different type. It's a velocity modulation and the current modulation. Okay, so now what are the characteristics of the two cavity amplifier? So two cavity amplifier, okay, that frequency ranges 250 megahertz to 100 gigahertz. Okay, the power output is a 10 kilowatt, okay, to the 500 kilowatt. As we know that in the radar the high power requirement is there, okay. So the megawatt power that is required, and generation of that kind of the power that can be generated by the simple devices, okay. So that is why there is a use of the microwave devices which will generate the high power. The power gain is the 15 dB to 70 dB, okay. Bandwidth is the 10 to 60 megahertz and efficiency is 30 to 40%, okay. Theoretically, practically these values that can be different. All electrons injected from the cathode that arrives at the first cavity with the uniform velocity. You will see the structure, and out of that you can have the idea that the tubes are there, okay. All electrons that are injected from the cathode, okay, will arrive at the first cavity. If the multi-cavity is there, then first cavity, second cavity, third cavity. So very first they together at the first cavity with the uniform velocity. Now the electron passing through the first cavity gap, okay, and what happened? That at the gap, okay, there is a gap voltage, okay, and the velocity, okay, provided by them, okay, according to that the electron will travel. So the positive half cycle of the gap voltage, okay, increase with the velocity, as well as the negative half cycle, okay, of the gap voltage, they undergo with the decrease in the velocity. So this way all the electron will travel with the different velocity. So electrons gradually bunch together, okay, that the electrons they are starting to run from this particular point. Over here we have a bunch of electrons, okay, fine, the bunch of electron again will travel, the another bunch of electrons are there, okay. So this way the electrons, okay, they gradually bunch together as they travel down the drift space, and this is known as the velocity modulation. So this is the fundamental of the velocity modulation, and that can be used in case of the klystron. Okay, so now the bunching process. How the bunch of the electron, okay, that is made. So that process is known as the bunching process. Due to this bunching process, okay, what will happen? The electron may travel. So now here the diagram you can see. Okay, there is a cathode. Okay, now what happened? We need to apply some voltage. So the V0 voltage that is applied through the battery to the cathode terminal. Now you can see that over here there are the two cavities. One is known as the buncher cavity, another one is known as the catcher cavity. from where we are taking the output? We are taking the output from the catcher cavity. Okay, the length, okay, for this buncher cavity and the catcher cavity, that is the capital L. Now here you can see that the electron from the cathode to anode, they are traveling. Now here the RF input is applied. Fine, RF input is applied, okay, and over here what happened? The V0 voltage is applied. Fine. So now what happened? That the RF input, okay, will given to the buncher cavity. Now what will happen? The electrons which are coming from the anode, okay, they will reach to this, okay, this particular cavity end. Now what happened? Over here the RF input is there. So that input is applied so that the speed of that electrons, okay, velocity of that electrons while they are traveling through this, it can be changed. Now that all the bunch of the electron will reach to this the drift space, and through the drift space it can be catched by the catcher cavity, and through this RF output, okay, this RF output, this output that will be taken. Over here the collector is there, again this will collect all this, the voltage, okay, all this electrons. So this way over here what happened, that at the T0 time it travels particular V point, okay, at this F1 D, then after the T2 time, okay, L plus D distance, and the T3, that is the L plus 2D. So according to the particular time, the distance that can be traveled, okay, by the electron. So again we can represent this particular process via the diagram which is known as the Applegate diagram. Now Applegate diagram, onto the x-axis there is a time, and onto the y-axis that is the distance which is traveled. So now you can see that the buncher green, okay, what is it? This is nothing but the particular the wave, okay, the RF wave. Fine. Now what happened at this particular point, okay, at this point, okay, what happened? The speed which is slow, means the electron which comes later, okay, which comes later. Fine. And if it is having the higher velocity, then it may reach at this particular point, okay. Now over here you can see that the electron which goes later after the some time, okay, but having the higher velocity, then again it reached the same time. So what happened? That the last electron will reach at the same time, the middle one electron that reach at the same time. Okay, so similarly what happened? There is a bunch of the electrons, okay, that will be over here. And what is it? It is the bunching center, okay. So at the bunching center there is a bunch of the electrons, and this is used for generating the high power, okay. So this is the Applegate diagram, okay. And now here you can see this constructions that what we have, there is a anode, okay, then after the cathode. Fine. Now what is applied at the buncher cavity? RF input is applied. At the catcher cavity, the RF output is taken, okay. Now the bunch of the electrons which is traveling, it is what? There is a the space between the buncher cavity and the catcher cavity. It's what? It's a drift space, okay. And this cavity is connected with the ground, okay. So this is the structure of the klystron tube, okay. So two cavity klystron we can consider. Similar way the multi-cavity klystron, okay, that can be there to achieve the higher gain, and that is why the cavities, they are connected in the cascading, okay. So 50 dB gain that can be also achieved by with the 4 cavities without increasing the bandwidth. and bandwidth can be increased by using the stack tuning, okay, of the cavities at the cost of the reduction in the gain. So here you can see that the diagram of the multi-cavity klystron. Okay, what is this? The electron gun is there. Okay, this is what it is, the beam collector. So all the beam, okay, that can be collected over here for this. Over here you can see that the microwave input, electron beam, microwave output. So we have the multiple cavities, and multiple cavities, okay, through which we are able to gain the higher gain. Okay, so that is about the multi-cavity klystron. Okay, so thank you very much everyone.